As you know, I have the privilege of wearing the black and gold and going toe-to-toe with some of the best defensive linemen in the country. I'm living my dream. Each snap, each series, and each quarter are physically and emotionally demanding, but no game or season has ever tested my endurance or attacked my resolve like the challenge that I now face each day of my life. Depression. I want to take this opportunity to share my story and struggle about depression so that we can begin the conversation and other college students will not feel so alone. My problems with depression began in the summer of 2014. I ate less and isolated myself from teammates. I spent more time asleep or in front of a TV than I did with people. Football, the driving force of my life for many years, went from a source of purpose to a source of apathy. I started to feel sad, anxious, and angry. I had an overwhelming sense of dread. It was every dimension of terrible. And I kept wondering what was wrong. But I started the 2014 season strong. I cracked the starting lineup early and held my own for a few games. However, as the season progressed, I suffered a minor injury. I didn't finish the season like I had hoped. Then everything started to unravel. When I returned from winter break, all the familiar symptoms resurfaced. The bottom line is, I didn't care about anything at all. It even got worse. The week before spring break in 2015, the wheels really came off. I forgot about classes, I missed a midterm, and was barely surviving workouts. It quickly became a downward spiral. I remember a stretch where I didn't leave my room for 3 days. I told Coach Ferentz that I wouldn't be able to be with the team that spring and left early to go home. It was a tough decision, but it was the right call. I saw a therapist and was officially diagnosed with depression. I learned that I had a genetic disposition to depression and started taking medication. And things started to improve. By the summer of 2015, I was working out again with the team. The wind was at my back, and I loved football again. I loved life. 2015, with our 12-0 regular season run, was a historic season for our team, and was one of the best and worst years of my life. Since then, it hasn't always been smooth sailing. Last summer, I struggled again and spent the first part of the 2016 camp away from the team. But in the course of a week, with the help of a lot of great people, I was able to move forward. Now I'm about to approach my last season at Iowa. I look forward to this year like no other. I recently shared my story with my teammates and our coaches. Their understanding and support will stay with me well past my playing days. So why is it important that I share my story with you? I have learned that depression doesn't discriminate. You can have everything working in your favor: a strong upbringing, a loving family, a promising future, and depression can turn it all upside down. It can make your successes feel unimportant and your problems seem monumental. It made me feel empty, like I had nothing. But it also galvanized me. It gave me a perspective that I never would have gained without it. Depression has taught me humility, and that I need to be honest with myself and others about how I feel. Without the support of my family, Coach Ferentz and his staff, my teammates and my friends, I'm not sure I ever would have gotten off the mat. Finally, and most importantly, if you think you suffer from depression, see someone. If you suspect a loved one suffers, get them the help that they need. And if you know someone struggling with depression, be understanding and caring. You will make a world of difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
In the summer of 2014. It wasn't something I dealt with in high school.
And over your battle with depression, what was the best piece of advice you got?
You know, it's really hard to say. You know, it's like Coach said, I've been fortunate enough to have so many people in my life that have helped me with it, and I've received so much, information and help and support. And I think the biggest thing that's helped me throughout my experience is this: when you're going through a bout of depression, the biggest thing that I think, in my experience, has been, this isn't how it's going to be forever. Just knowing that when you're in the thick of it, it's kind of a battle between your emotions and logic, because it's not going to feel that way forever, but you're in the thick of it at the moment. So I think that's probably the most the best advice I've received.
Did you just keep waiting for it to clear up and return to normal, and it didn't?
Yeah, it's funny because you can draw a lot of parallels between football injuries and my problem was it's a lot more complex than a football injury. You have to talk about it, and you have to treat it differently than a football injury. And I've gone through a couple of those, and it was on me where I was on top of it for a while, and I thought I was good. And I became lackadaisical about it, and I would start back at square one. So yeah, I've had a couple of those experiences. Yeah.
Could you share some of the symptoms? Were some of your most obvious ones?
I mean, with depression, it's more or less in your head. So the physical, what it looks like in my experience is I spend less time away from people. I don't like to talk to people. Just a general. Any negative feeling you can really imagine, it'll hit you. And it's different for everyone too. That's the tricky part about the condition, is it's different for everyone.
Sean, you have a support system here on campus, people people who care about you, who've helped you through this, but there are potentially thousands of students who aren't like you, who are here on their own, do not have the same support system. Is that part of the reason why you're speaking up now, to maybe you can reach somebody else who isn't a part of a football program?
Sure.
Or something like that?
It's definitely a reason why I came forward. I think it's much more of a prevalent issue than people think, and I think with college-age kids it's definitely that case. With me, it was really a matter of pride. I was really too proud to really admit that I needed to go seek help the first time. And if someone like me can come forward and have the platform to come forward and talk about it, hopefully that can spur someone else who's dealing with those kind of issues to come forward and see someone.
Is there almost a sense of relief when you started to talk about it and started to share and maybe helped you cope?
Yeah, no, absolutely. In my experience, it's been easier with each person I've told. The first time I went in to see the therapist, it was like pulling teeth. It was really hard for me. But it eventually got easier and easier. The more that you talk about it with people, it gets a lot easier.
How did it play with teammates? Because I'm sure it's hard for them to conceptualize, because you guys are all masters of the universe and stuff like that. Were there guys who you kind of had to educate?
I'll have someone that'll come up to me every once in a while and ask about it, and just out of curiosity and what it looks like and all. But the thing that I've wanted from day one is just to be treated like any other guy on the team, and that's what they've really given me. From the moment I told them about it, to now they haven't treated me any differently. So they've been great.
You said you've seen a therapist. Is there anything else you're doing to help combat it, or what else helps you with it?
I take medication daily. I stay in a routine. The thing about depression with me is I found every time I've relapsed, I've learned, and I've learned a lot, and I've been able to adapt better with it. I've learned that I need a routine. I need to stay busy. I need to be around people, and just little things in my life that I do to keep me on top of it.
Did you ever think about quitting football?
Yeah, well, in that break that I took in 2015, that was part of the reason why I took that time away. I was weighing, whether I wanted to play or not. And again, it kind of goes back to that, duality of pride. I was too proud to go in to see anyone about the depression, but I was too proud to quit football, because of depression. So, I've learned both sides of pride there.
All right, thank you very much, Sean.